find a way to run from the city of the sun. You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
All right, today is April 26, 2026. It is 5:40 a.m. This is like video number 3. So let's go on X. We're gonna start with Chris Ship interviewing Harry. So this is the first tweet. Okay, I will always be part of the royal family, and I'm here working doing the things that I was born to do, and I am doing it. His Royal Highness, the Prince Henry Charles Albert David Duke of Sussex. Over to you, alleged working royals. What have you done to help humanity? The non-working royals, keep showing y'all how it should be done. All right, great interview. I bet Chris Ship is glad Wednesday never never came. I think the thing about Wednesday was when Harry and Meghan were leaving, and he said something like he will not be talking about the Sussexes after Wednesday or something. You guys could correct me on that. I forgot how it went, but I think it's something like that. All right, but anyway, it's almost 5 minutes. Let's listen. I'll try not to interrupt. If I do, I probably will create a video by itself with the interview, and obviously screenshot in between.
World, you see what's happening here, you see what's happening in Iran. What do you think about the world your children are going to grow up into? The sort of fears that we might be hurtling towards World War III, and I wondered if that is something that worries you.
I think that, look, there's the here and now in Ukraine. You mentioned Iran. I would say it's across the entire Middle East and huge other parts of the world, Africa. There are conflicts everywhere.
Yep.
There is an immense loss of life and psychological impact that's having on people, civilians, citizens, communities, people who are caught up in all of these conflicts, people who are being specifically targeted in these conflicts. So, you know, the answer to your question, Jerome, I think everybody's scared, everybody's worried for what is potentially around the corner, but also what is happening now. But at the same time, what I'm continually told, what I see is the vast majority of the global population want to see an end to these conflicts. Less conversations about war, and more conversations about peace and how we can come to the table and have these conversations. So yes, the future does look bleak, but I think that hopefully, with the way that the world is reacting to the conflicts that are happening, that we can see an end to these sooner rather than later.
Let's talk about your speech yesterday. I mean, I thought it was a significant intervention, and you said you weren't a politician, but you mentioned American leadership, Russian leadership. Now you're no longer a working royal, and heaven knows there's been enough comment about that over the years. Do you feel like emboldened? The shackles are off, free to say things about the world you couldn't say before 2020?
Look, I think the Overton window has shifted somewhat over the last 5 years, and I think that at the same time, it's what would worry me is if we live in a world where anyone in my position or anybody anywhere can't speak about the very things and the realities that we're seeing, and to hold those in leadership positions accountable, but also be able to try to encourage more support where support is needed. So I think there's a lot to be done as far as shackles. You know, from my perspective, we need to be collectively, as a global community, we need to feel empowered to be able to speak truth to power. It's really that simple. It's bad enough in today's world feeling gagged and saying that you can't say these things and can't say that, and that everything becomes political. I fundamentally disagree with that. What we are witnessing and what we are seeing is a humanitarian catastrophe in multiple parts of the world, and people are speaking up, and people will continue to speak up, and I would encourage more people to do the speaking up, because, as I said, the vast majority of people want to see an end to these conflicts and an end to this endless division that is largely being created online.
Harry, do you recognise that phrase, not a working royal? I mean, it strikes me, you're obviously from the royal family, you're here doing a trip, bringing attention to a really important cause that risks being forgotten. Do you recognise that description of you?
No, I will always be part of the royal family, and I'm here working and doing the very thing that I was born to do. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being able to do these trips and come and support the people that I've met before, the friends that I've made, and hopefully bringing attention to issues that, for one reason or another, drop out of the news because something else has popped up. But I'm grateful to all of you guys being here and telling these stories that so desperately need to be told. I understand focus will shift to different places, but ultimately, as I said, what I see, what I hear, and what I learn is that the vast majority of people, whether you're in the UK or whether you're anywhere else in the world, want to see proper leadership, and they want to see an end to these conflicts. Whether that's through diplomacy, however we can bring these conflicts to an end, for the sake of everybody now, but also for the future of younger generations coming through.
Do you think any of this is going to have an impact on the big state visit next week?
Any of what?
Any of what you've said here will have an impact on a big state visit?
I don't think so. Not at all. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, thank you.
Trying to mangle Charles with Trump kind of thing.
Well,
no, Charles has his own thing. Harry has his own thing. Whatever Charles is going to talk with Trump, that's their business. And one thing that he said about people need to speak up and things like that, that's true, because we see what's happening. YouTube tried to shut people down for not talking about what was going on in the Middle East. Look what they have done. Literally bulldoze the Middle East. And they expect people to take the nonsense that these people are doing. Misinformation, lie to the people for no reason, non-stop. And one thing that he said about the Middle East, about the community, destroy and things like that, the very first thing that came to mind was that guy who, he passed now, Baudin. He used to have that travel channel. He used to go in the Middle East. Now, who knows? These areas probably no longer exist. Eat with those people. What is it? What countries have he visited? There's a lot of them in the Middle East. How they welcome him, show him the food, the dance that he drank with them, and all of that. Who knows? These people probably no longer here anymore after what Israel did to the area. All right, let's read some of the comments here. All right, there's that. I felt sick to my stomach seeing this clown talking to Harry. Why is Chris Ship stalking Prince Harry? Why are you so obsessed? Why are you hounding Harry and drooling to be around him? I thought you were gonna talk about them after they left, etc. So that was the thing. He said, after Wednesday, I'm not gonna talk about. And then he kept on talking about them, and the squad made a joke about it. Wednesday never come. He's 1000% better at speaking and interviewing than any other royals. I can't imagine he'll ever want to be stuck being a working royal again. Shaking my head. Ship his state visit. They kept plugging it, and whenever they can, let's put this. They kept plugging it, and whenever they can, so it can trend alongside. Powerful, kind, good King Harry. He is not an HR. Please, he is a HRH. I don't want to go into that. Let's move on. I think the interview is still there. The next tweet. I'm not going to play it again. Okay, so that's a GIF. So they're making reference to the interview that I just shared with you. Chris, Harry, do you recognize the term working royals? Prince Harry, no. I will always be part of the royal family and I'm here working. Well done, Harry. Mic drop. That was a mic drop moment for sure. Harry, basically, I'm in the picture of a working royal. It is a real embarrassment when Taliban ship has no concept of birth. I'm telling you. Yeah, Harry will always be a royal, no matter what. Well, he's from a line of royalty, so it is what it is. That Harry is still genetically royal, so leaving the business does not make him unroyalful. Even what's the other one that when they removed the prince from his name? He's still prince because his mother was the monarch. Alright, so leaving the business does not make him unroyalful. He kept himself down by using Ukraine to bitch about the Australia visit and bring Meghan into the article, a-hole. Chris knows just stirring the pot. Yeah, he does. That's cute. Won't be so cute when they Prince Andrew him. If Charles doesn't do it, William surely is blah blah blah. I mean, they could take all the titles away. This thing don't matter to Harry and Meghan because they are doers. They can produce. They create things. All right, they come with ideas. If they don't have the skill set to make it, they know of people who could help bring their ideas to life. About time someone point out the absurdity of that mockery. There's a lot more, even more contradict, but it's a start. There's that, you know it's true. All right, next tweet. Prince Harry about the halo. There's more comment, but let's move on. All right. Alright, let's pause. Okay, history doesn't whisper, it screams. Diana walked a minefield in Angola, halo vest on, daring the world to see the horror. The media tore her apart, calling her a loose cannon. Today, her son Harry does the exact same thing in Bucha, Ukraine. Same stride, same fire, same refusal to look away. Blood doesn't lie. The people's princess still walks amongst us. But how tragic is it that 30 years later, her son must finish what she started? Heartbreaking. All right, 1 minute and 2 seconds. I don't know if there's music. All right, there's no sound. So let's go through it like this, okay? All right, you can't hear what he's saying. All right, I have other videos. Probably will share some of these. Alright, you can't hear the sound. And I can't share the video properly anyway. 30 years ago, Harry needs to find his own self. He does! Not keeping grifting of his mother. Harry is an absolute mess. Okay, if this is what you think, let's block. I don't have time for this. Congratulations, HRH Prince Harry, for being a good king, Harry, for the worlds of need. I'm sure if the other brother was doing exactly what Harry's doing, those derangers all of a sudden will come out of the woodwork, say some nonsense, applaud him. Murdoch's media dogs always knock those who do things for less fortunate, like Angolan mines that kill and injure many. God bless you, mighty good King Harry. This man does more impact than the rest of the tax paid left behind royals combined. Instead of acting petty within your family, focus on doing actually work and drop the dead weight pedals in the family. Just saying. Is this the same Harry who claimed to have killed Taliban fighter as they were pieces and chessboard? Well, he explained his thing. He was at war. No one is for war, okay? There was a mission for something, and he went and do what he needs to do. If he does, otherwise they will shoot him. Harry is a good man. He's worth more than the rest of that useless family put together. And they and the media were so stupid as to push him away. I'm getting very emotional now seeing HRH Princess Diana taking such a brave step of death in Angola, saving people's lives. She would be good to negotiate a peace now. She is usually missed. She was such a humanitarian and charitable mother. These people, they're not looking for peace. They're creating the chaos. All right, let's go to the next tweet. All right, so this is from Halo. Let's pause it. From Halo Trust. Prince Harry joined the Halo Trust in Ukraine today. He piloted an AI-powered drone that detects and maps explosives and operates on Orbat, a remote control vehicle used to safely remove them, innovation that enabled us to return land to communities sooner. Nearly 30 years ago, when my mother visited Angola, the miners carried out painstaking work in their hands and knees. Today, they are using drone AI and robots, said Prince Harry. In 2022, the Ukrainian government estimated that an area twice the size of Austria was potentially littered with mines and explosives. Since then, Halo has made real progress, with an area roughly the size of Belgium confirmed safe, allowing families to return home and farmers to safely work their land. You know what came to mind when Harry was talking about journalism. There's some people who's doing good things, trying to bring the news to people, and there are some who's, you know, tearing, destroying the fabric of journalism. He didn't put it like that, but something like this.
What I really don't like, and what I find hard to make peace with, is that there are some people on one end of the spectrum who are sitting behind their keyboards writing dangerous or defamatory headlines, knowing that it's going to work as clickbait because any context in the rest of the article protects them and there's nothing you can do about it. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have Nobel Prize winners like Maria Ressa, who's literally putting her life on the line, and war correspondents who again are putting their lives on the line to bring us the truth. So that, to me, is the spectrum. And my life has been covered by this end of the spectrum, which I will be damned if those journalists are going to ruin journalism for everybody else because we depend on it so much.
That came to mind. While these technologies are being created, improving to solve a serious problem, and then you're going to have some bad actors who's going to use it for, you know, as a weapon kind of things. So let's listen 18 seconds. I'm telling you, during the Ukraine war, a lot of things have been created. It's playing over. Technology have been created. All right, great stuff. Great stuff. Game of Drones. Okay, I don't know, but this is that. All right, next tweet. Oh my God, it's gonna take me forever to edit some of these videos. All right. Diana's heir, the good king, Prince Harry, the brave. All right, 45 seconds.
It's fantastic to be here in Ukraine to see how the Halo Trust is relying on modern technologies, robots, AI, drones, to speed up the process for demining and finding munitions that are scattered all over this country. Back in the day, nearly 30 years ago when my mother was in Angola, Halo Trust were on hands and knees clearing landmines, but the improvements and the ability to clear minefields faster is extraordinary. So the technology is very, very impressive. To all the donors and funders out there, please continue to support Halo Trust so that we can get more drones and clear these spaces so they can be safe for Ukrainians to enjoy.
All right, so that's that. Oh, there's no comment. Next tweet. Maybe I'll put this on our part of Pew service. That's my other channel. Okay, His Royal Highness, you look good. Okay, hi Prince Max, you're not just a troll, but you got caught out. Go, what the hell? Okay, let me leave that alone. Next tweet. I'm telling you, they come out and say that things. The thing with Harry, distinct from his family, he learned from his past mistake, he learned from history, and he improved himself. All right, Prince Harry talks about Ukraine's 10 years participation in the Invictus Games. All right, 20 seconds.
Everyone for being here. 10 years since Ukraine has been part of the Invictus community and the Invictus family, as we call it. As I said this morning, I'm very relieved that Ukraine has been part of this for so long, rather than trying to... everyone...
It's playing over. The Ukrainian love Harry. Great work and support of patriotic veterans. Prince Harry, bullseye, show up and doing good. Next tweet. Chris Ship. I put a star next to it. I think I shared that already. Okay, no, I did not. All right, so this one is pretty long. There's no caption. It's 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Let's see here. The only response to it is this is Channel 5 in the UK, owned by Paramount Sport, a right-wing American company. So let's listen to that, and then I'll go to the next tweet.
Now next, a war of words between a prince and a president. After the Duke of Sussex urged the US to do more to end the conflict in Ukraine, President Trump fired back saying Harry doesn't speak for the UK. Well, Prince Harry has said he won't be gagged. He made the comments during a visit to Ukraine, as our royal correspondent Simon Vigar reports.
It's not his first time on a battlefield, of course, nor his first time in Ukraine. Prince Harry was learning all about modern minesweeping today while making a pointed remark about his public role.
I will always be part of the royal family, and I'm here working and doing the very thing that I was born to do. And you know, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being able to do these trips and go and support the people that I've met before, the friends that I've made, and hopefully bringing attention to issues that, you know, for one reason or another drop out of the news because something else has popped up.
His mother's work in the 1990s with the Halo Trust and mines drew some criticism at the time, but Harry's campaigning now is hardly controversial. In his keynote speech, the Duke of Sussex did call on the US to step up and support Ukraine without mentioning the president by name. Donald Trump's response to that dripped with sarcasm.
Prince Harry?
Yes, sir.
How's he doing? How's his wife? Please give her my regards, okay? No, I don't know. I know one thing. Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry. But I appreciate his advice very much. Great advice.
This was his state visit to the UK last year, and on Monday it will be the return leg, with the King visiting the White House. The King's second son denies he's getting involved in politics, but says he has a duty to say it as he sees it.
We need to feel empowered to be able to speak truth to power. It's really that simple. It's bad enough in today's world feeling gagged and saying that you can't say these things and can't say that, and that everything becomes political. I fundamentally disagree with that. What we are witnessing and what we are seeing is a humanitarian catastrophe in multiple parts of the world.
His military credentials and his status as a prince mean he will always have a platform, something he made very clear when he stepped back from official duties 6 years ago and every day since.
Well, our royal correspondent Simon Vigar joins us now. Great to have you in the studio, Simon. I mean, what struck you most about Prince Harry's interview today?
Well, I think that phrase, Catherine, I will always be part of the royal family. I mean, that's stating the obvious, isn't it? But also the fact that he felt he needed to say it. You know, you can tell me not to use HRH, you can say I'm not a working member of the royal family, but I'll always be part of this family and I will always champion the projects I want to. Now, the King, of course, is completely aligned on Ukraine, supporting Ukraine. He'll be more diplomatic in his language next week during the state visit. Harry also said, this is a thing I was born to do, and a clear reference there, I think, to his mother, Diana, and the campaigning that she did in the 90s.
Of course. Well, thank you for that. You touched upon it. We'll hear more from you next week because you're going to be live in the US, aren't you, with coverage of the King's trips. We look forward to that. Thank you. Now,
so that's that. They're trying to pin Harry against Trump. They really want that, and both of them are not taking the bait. And Trump knows it too, not to mess with Harry. Not in a sense. The only reason Trump may not want to mess with Harry is the fact that Harry have done a lot for veterans, have done a lot for firefighters, have done a lot for police. What have Trump done? Instead, Trump is taking things away from those people. So if those people, those group of people, professionals, men and women who try to serve their countries, know what's good for them, they know, I mean, a lot of those things that Harry is doing for them, he didn't have to do them. But he does it anyway to help their lives, their family get better. And Trump is just there to take. So I wrote something in one of those tweets where I said these people will, those firefighters and veterans, they will fight for him for free, for Harry, that is. Okay, next tweet. Prince Harry and the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Yulia, Svyrydenko. Okay, I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly. I think that's a picture. There's Harry taking the picture. Alright, so he took that, and Harry is good at that. That's a very good picture. If this is the one that he took. There's more pictures. I think he's the ugliest one in that family. Okay, if this is what you think, that's fine. I'm telling you, these people, they're like childish. We appreciate Harry's support and encourage. He is a great man and he's showing his true colors. There's all of that. Prince, not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay, so there's the headers here. I don't need to spend my time reading them. You could pause and read whatever is on the screen. Let me get the next. Okay, this, ladies and gents, does not happen by accident. It occurs through coordinated effort and true understanding of the issue. OC, there's a role for titles and star power, but they are abstract. Harry is good at his job. He uses his title well. Meghan is good for Harry, and Harry is good for the world. Alright, so there's that here. I don't know who any of these people are, with the exception of Harry. There's another picture that was taking the opposite direction, and some people, you know, highlight couple names. And I don't know. I shared that already. Just went on to that. There's all of this. You could pause and read. Let's move on. Okay, Harry is pretending to be a statement. Okay, so these are the issues here. He's over there. He literally flew over there. He's there. He's not pretending. Harry made himself dangerous to the world the past 48 hours. Well, it can't be any dangerous than what it is right now, because these people are going around and just destroy and destroy. You don't even know. What about those kids who went to school, got up in the morning, think, you know, they're going to come home and do some stuff with their family, and then out of nowhere, they drop a bomb on the people's lives. You don't even know what's going to happen in the next few seconds. So he's supposed to just keep on accepting the BS that keeps on happening, and nobody is doing the pushback. That's what these people want. So it's like, if he's going down, he might as well go down fighting. God is good. It's not going to happen. All right. Next week, Channel 5's war correspondent, Simon Vigar, delivered a rare masterclass in how to stay focused and professional, while his co-presenter did everything to try to twist Prince Harry's visit to Ukraine into a misrepresentation. Funny how Prince Harry is now being called a royal again, when all along they've been saying he's no longer one. Pick a lane, toxic British media. All right. 2 minutes, 35 seconds.
Welcome back to 5 News. Now, Prince Harry has made a surprise visit to Ukraine to, in his words, remind people of the war there. Our royal correspondent Simon Vigar is in the studio tonight, as you can see. Simon, good evening to you. It's unusual, isn't it, for royals to get involved in international politics, but Harry seems to have done it.
Yeah, it is, but siding with Ukraine is not that controversial, so this isn't an official visit. Plenty of British government ministers have made similar visits. He was very keen today to say, I am not here as a politician. It's not his first visit to Ukraine. Obviously, he's got the military links, the Invictus links. So let's take a look. He met some of the thousands of wounded personnel in Ukraine. He's particularly concerned with prosthetics and their manufacturing in Ukraine, and also minefields through the Halo Trust. So not there as a politician, but in his keynote speech to the security conference, he did have a message for the Russian president. Let's take a listen.
President Putin, no nation benefits from the continued loss of life we are witnessing. There is still a moment now to stop this war, to prevent further suffering for Ukrainians and Russians alike, and to choose a different course.
Can I ask you a question? Like, when the big names at Buckingham Palace see that, what do they think, do you reckon, of Harry appearing at somewhere and speaking in that way?
Well, they're very aligned, really, because in fairness, the King has met President Zelensky several times over the last 4 years since the war began. Prince William's been to see NATO operations in Eastern Europe, so they are all on the same page on that front. In the wake of the Trump administration withdrawing funding from the war effort in Ukraine, take a listen to this bit. It's not directly addressed at the US president, but it doesn't really have to be.
This is a moment for American leadership. A moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations. Not out of charity, but out of its own enduring role in global security and strategic stability.
And one other thing to flag up, I suppose, is that Hilo lives in the US with his wife and family. The king is on a state visit, which is next week. So is that going to come up at all, do you think?
Well, it will come up. I don't think in his big speech the king will say that sort of thing in it. But Harry also said today, history will not ask what we said, it will ask what we did. And going back to the beginning, the bit where he said, I'm not here as a politician, that is very similar to the sort of thing someone said in the mid-90s when they withdrew from official royal duties, Princess Diana.
Yeah, really interesting. Simon, thank you for that.
That was good. I might turn this into a short. Okay, I love the bit where he says Harry has been to Ukraine several times. The king has met Zelensky several times, and William has been to see NATO operations. I sort of giggle about that because I remember the picture of him wearing the camouflage uniform. He looks so weird. Not praising that Simon guy because he's very happy to go to the Sun and accuse Meghan of being a greedy mom who exploit her kids. He's playing both sides. Did he? No surprises from a British royal commentator. They are such vile creatures. And the fact that Harry was it Putin by name? I didn't see that part until I'm playing this video. But for Trump, he did a reference to him. Sadly, you're right. Okay, Simon is just another royal vat who will be singing a different tune if Pegs was invited to Ukraine. Sadly, you're right. All right, let's go to the next tweet. I might have part 1 and part 2. Okay, so the next video, I'm going to start with this. Okay, I'm exactly 30 minutes. So I'll start the next video with this because I have a lot more to share with you. So let's stop it here. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.